last year. Josh Parr in the saddle there for Richard Litt, and of course he went on to more Group 1 glory. Katie, how will the Champagne be run and won?
I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot of tempo in this race because, you know, you've got horses like Holyfield and Not an Option, but a lot of these horses are untried at the mile, so they need to get the distance. Being a 2-year-old, they're all very lightly raced, so I don't think they're going to go very quickly. Horses like Untamed, Aim, King's Legacy, I think they're going to be in the right positions just behind the speed. Chris,
is there a jockey that you'd like to focus on?
Tommy Berry, he jumps out at me. He's just an absolutely awesome bloke. Him and we saw... might have been last week, we showed that footage of Ty and him coming out to the Funky Farm. He's very modern with the social media. He's very active on social media, which I think is great to see in this day and age. Him and his wife, Shani, they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, charity works, and as we know, Tommy's had a lot to do with Ty with his recovery, which was, what, nearly 18 months ago now.
Yeah, and trying to raise 4 kids at the same time. 28 Group 1's outstanding jockey is Tommy Berry. The boys are absolutely everywhere. The Berry boys, they're on fire. Jared, a hot horse here?
Certainly King's Legacy, Richo. Best back comfortably with tab. $2.90 this morning, now $2.70.
Bruce, King's Legacy, he looks the obvious, not to be proven yet at the mile, but the way he finished it off at the 1,400 metres for the size, he's going to take some beating.
I like him, Richard. I think he's about the right price. I think that's a good price to back him at. You've got the Bayou form and the Fernhill form in that. It's been pretty reliable. I think Untamed, of the two, I prefer him to Holyfield, to be honest. I think Untamed's got ups. Ole Kirk, he's done nothing wrong. Look, it's a really interesting race. But this horse, I feel like he really came of age when he won the size, and you had to be impressed with his last 200 metres that day. As long as he doesn't get into any trouble and he gets his chance up the straight, I'm expecting him to add the size with the Champagne today.
Henry, your point a little earlier on in regards to the change in track conditions. We've so much of this form is rain-affected form. Suddenly we get on a good track. I think AIM has been desperate for that sort of ground. Yeah, well, as Katie made mention of, his wheels look to be spinning in it. They've still got to do it. They've still got to improve, and they've still got to like the dry track. But he's the one that could jump out of the ground if anything's going to improve. King's Legacy, though, you've got him on top? Well, he's the obvious on weights and measures. If they were machines and they ran up to their previous start every start, he's the horse you'd want to be with. And I think if other than AIM, if one is to improve, I think it's probably Not an Option, the Kiwi horse with the unorthodox preparation. And you've ruled out My Boy and Untamed, so there could be a bottle of wine on that. So we give him strength here for the Champagne Stakes. 160th running of this Group 1 race for the 2-year-olds. It's been won by some stars of the turf like Vane and Todman and Ajax and Luskin Star, and so many of the quality 2-year-olds of their era, like the mighty Red Anchor, who went on to be brilliant 3-year-olds. Here's Darren Flindell.
So we're ready for the Melbourne Chandon Champagne Stakes, Group 1 for the 2-year-olds. Light as iron. Stand by for a start. King's Legacy, a rock-solid favourite, and the gates are back, they're off, and Holyfield's blown the start. The expected leaders out the back, and Glenfiddich first into stride from Felizi. Then came Fiera, and King's Legacy's up running fourth in the early stages. Holyfield is tearing around the outside of the field, followed by Untamed in the white hat, clear from AIM. Further back then to Mandalong Beyond. Ole Kirk is well back, and Not an Option is the last one, so Glenfiddich in front. Holyfield's in a mountain of work to go up into second. He's only a length and a half off Glenfiddich. They're followed by Untamed, is doing his fair share of work, going to third, a half into Felizi, Fiera fifth, the rails. King's Legacy settles in 6 now, followed after 2 lengths to Mandalong Beyond, who's on the inside of AIM. Ole Kirk gives away a big start, and so does the New Zealander, Not an Option. Heapy 12 lengths last. It's Glenfiddich in front by a length to Holyfield. Untamed moving up on the outside, followed by Fiera as they come to the turn. Felizi the outside, 2 further back to King's Legacy. Then Mandalong Beyond from AIM. Ole Kirk and Not an Option coming around the corner now. Glenfiddich just in front. A neck away the outside. Holyfield being hard ridden. Untamed is moving up to third, followed by Fiera. Then came Felizi, and King's Legacy's getting to the middle of the track now. It's Glenfiddich trying to fend them off. A length off to Untamed. King's Legacy gets going, and Ole Ollie Kirk down the outside. Glenfiddich still in front. King's Legacy is lifting. King's Legacy goes now to Glenfiddich. They brush, but King's Legacy puts the head in front and edges clear. He's the Group 1 king. King's Legacy claims the Sires Produce Champagne Stakes double. Just edged out Glenfiddich. Ollie Kirk in the third, followed then by Untamed from Not an Option for Error. Further back to Felizi, Mandalon Beyond. Holyfield blew it at the start, and Aim in the red hat was last to finish.
Well, he puts his hat in the ring for the 2-year-old of the year because that's his second Group 1. He completes the Sires Champagne double, the 41st horse to complete that double. Huey Bowman wins his third Champagne. Peter Snowden wins his fourth Champagne. They've got a great record of producing a quality 2-year-old. And you get the double whammy here, Bruce, because he cost $1.4 million as a yearling. He's won 2 Group 1s. Well, we don't know how long we're going to see him race because he's a really valuable colt now. He'll stand in the Hunter Valley and he'll stand at a big price.
He sure will, Richo, and it's great to see a high-price yearling like this come to the fore. What about Huey Bowman? We talked about him earlier, obviously, today with the interview. 96 Group 1s. So, Jason, he's also won the Triple Crown, Farnham, the Golden Slipper, and this horse, the Sires and the Champagne. So Huey wins all the 3 big Group 1 2-year-old races. It was a really solid win. Gee, Glenfiddich, what a run by him. And have a look at the brush here. They come together. Glenfiddich was, well, they didn't quite there, but Glenfiddich was so strong, wasn't he? Ollie Kirk, good run, had his chance, but no, I love the winner. He's a beautifully bred horse, a son of Redout's choice, and no longer with us, of course. He passed away around about this time last year, and this bloke is doing his legacy proud.
5 Group 1s for the season now for Hughes, so he's just one behind Craig Williams, which is interesting, Chris, because he's been the leading Group 1 rider every season for the last 5. He needs to win today because he won't get to travel to other parts of Australia.
Yeah, it's very true, but putting rides like that on the board is why he's the best in the business. And yes, he was on the best horse. There were some great runs to come out of that. Glenfiddich that did a little bit of work. It was a messy race to watch. Holyfield missing the kick, driven back up to the speed, really changed the complexion of the race. And I thought the run of the race was Ollie Kirk, coming from further back than the winner and still, you know, had to make a big run at him. And I really like that horse, and it's going to be a better horse next campaign.
14 Group 1s in partnership with his son, Peter and Paul Snowden. Here's Peter, the winning trainer.
Peter Snowden, congratulations. An expensive colt, but a wonderful one.
Yeah, good result, Greg. Give him the Peterborough ride. Gee, look, watch the race. He'd be the one you want to be on. He travels so well and quick and nicely. And no, I think this is only a start of what you'll probably see as a 3-year-old. He's definitely a horse that can train on and be, a horse with a lot of substance and a good bit of quality about him.
He's done a great job to go away to Queensland and come back and really produce the best when he got back home. Yeah,
there's always a thought in our minds too. James, we spoke about it early, we always thought these are the 2 races that suit him, and as it's turned out, we've got them right. And he's a nice colt, and he'll only get better as a 3-year-old. There's no doubt about it. He's just doing this in raw ability at the moment.
Can you see a future where he'd step out over further than a mile?
100%. Yeah, he's got the right attitude. He's got a good turn of foot. He relaxes really well, as you've seen there today, and he can quicken quickly. So, big asset to have. He's a quality colt, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more of him later on.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Peter and Paul Snowden.
Yeah, brilliant. So Pete Snowden won the race with Skilled, Helmet and Guelph when he was in control of Darley at the time, now Godolphin. And now in partnership with his son, he wins his 4th Champagne Stakes. And Huey Bowman wins his 3rd, Samantha Miss, and also Pasadena Girl, and now wins with a colt. Brilliant win. He's a horse to follow in the future. King's Legacy.